What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along. I do apologise, I'm a minute or two late, but my microphone wasn't working, so I had to sort the old microphone out, so that's why I'm a little bit late, and I need your help to check my settings to make sure that they're all good. So do let me know. Weirdly, my default settings disappeared, so yeah. Don't know what's going on there with the old microphone, but hey ho, we are here, we are live, we have a lot to talk about. So, how are we? First and foremost, hope you're all having a lovely day. IFAB have been discussing the rules of football, so we'll be talking about that a little bit. We'll be talking about Florian Wirtz, of course, who's been linked with Liverpool today, and Craig will be finally trying to get his microphone in the right position. So there we go. Hope you're doing well today. I'm good. Yeah, good, thank you. Had a bit of a dodgy tummy yesterday, but feeling a lot more like myself today. So, look, we're going to go through and discuss lots of bits and pieces over the next hour. At 7:30, I'll be jumping straight over the top of the league for a watch along of the PSG Newcastle game. So, yeah, we good? Right, let's start with a thank you for yesterday to everyone that was with us for the stream with Leo's goals. It was lovely, really refreshing to have such a positive guy on as well. And again, I want to reiterate our utmost respect for Leo and the work he does. So, if you do get a chance, check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed it yesterday. I know I certainly did. It was lovely to chat with Leo, and it was lovely to see so much positivity in the chat. I love your vid, says McNuggets. Thank you, dude. You're really kind. Appreciate you. Right, so I've got a couple of transfer topics to talk about. I've got some refereeing announcements for the game of the weekend and some stuff on IFAB. So what do we want to talk about today? Let me know. It is up to you guys as always to decide which one we start with. I also want to shout out today is Oosh Day, so there will be an Oosh plug in a while as well, so keep that in mind. You and Leo, LFC's goated supporters. Do you know what? There's very rarely a video where I go and look at all the comments, but yesterday's stream with Leo, I went back today and last night just to thank people in the comments because it was really lovely to see. I love positivity. I do. I love seeing it in the fan base. I love seeing it with people we interact with, and it was a joyful stream for me yesterday. Right, so refereeing. Okay, let's start with the refereeing stuff then before we get underway. So the referee and the VAR officials have been confirmed for our game against Fulham on Sunday. This is who we've got in charge. The referee for Sunday is going to be Mr. Stuart Atwell, so you can make your own minds up on that one. But interestingly, guess who's on VAR? Paul Tierney is on VAR alongside Adam Nunn, who's the assistant VAR. Richard West and James Mainwaring will be the assistant referees for the game. So Stuart Atwell's the ref and Paul Tierney's on VAR. So, yeah, look, you don't need me to say anything at this point, so I'll let you guys ponder on that one yourself. Hey baby, alright, we're getting a bit too stalky now, Colin. Much love and thanks for all you do. Thank you very much, my man. Appreciate you. So yeah, look, shenanigans are going to be afoot this weekend. I fully expect something from Tierney and VAR at the weekend, but let's wait and see what happens. On that one, look, I did say to you guys today was Oosh Day as well, so I just want to really quickly let you guys know about a couple of great draws that Oosh have coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, of course, Oosh is the home of giveaways, whether it's cars, cash, tech, holidays, or those all-important football club packages, Oosh have got you covered. The first draw I want to let you know about this month is a belter. For just €7.50 before your discount, you can get into a draw to win €50,000 in cash. The winner of that draw, and that's right, 50 grand, is going to be announced on Monday the 11th of December on the Oosh official Facebook page. So get yourselves across there and remember to use your discount code AA10 for 10% off any of the Oosh draws, even if they're already discounted. This one's been knocked down to $7.50 and you get 10% off. So for $6.75 you can have a chance to win 50 grand in cash. And the other one is the one that I think you're going to be most interested in. Fancy 2 tickets to see Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield Sunday, 16th of December, sorry. Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. Our friends at Oosh are doing a draw for just €18. It's a high roller entry, meaning it's limited to 199 people. So think about that. Only allowing 199 people into the draw. It's 18 quid to enter. You can get your entry for just what are these? 16.20 with our AA10 discount. The winner will get 2 tickets to see Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. Seated together in the Cop End, 1 night accommodation at the Apart Hotel at Adagio, Liverpool City Centre, and you will get €300 in Ryanair vouchers, or you can take the cash alternative. And again, that is limited to just 199 entries, so decent enough odds. Right, so for everybody asking about the stuff on Jota and Alisson, honest answer, nobody knows yet. And I asked Connor just before I went live, have you seen anything new today? I've been looking to find stuff and I haven't been able to get a definitive answer. So I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing or if it's a nothing thing. But what we can say is that we know the answer to the Alisson and Diogo Jota situation. So we'll have to wait and see. But the game is at Anfield. Yes, that's why I said 2 tickets to see Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield on Saturday the 16th of December. Both seated together in the Cop. I couldn't have been any clearer about that, mate. So I don't know what you're talking about there. But anyway, great draw that. And as I said, €18 entry, 16.20 with your AA10 discount code. Scan the QR code on the screen or get yourselves over to the Oosh site or app using the QR code or going into the description. Right. 17th of December. I'm reading what is written on their website. I think the game is the 17th of December myself. I think it's a half-hour game, but Oosh on their website have it down as the 16th of December. That could be a typo in their regard. You know, I can only read what's written on the website. But either way, you'll get 2 tickets to see Liverpool United at home, 1 night's accommodation, €300 in Ryanair vouchers, and it's just about €16.20, which is about £14.50. With 199 limited entries. Right, where are we going? I was confused there. Where was I off to? So we've done the IFABs. No, we haven't done the IFABs. Right, transfers. Let's get into it. So there's 2 stories today that I want to discuss. The first one is for a centre-back. So let's talk about it and we will see what you guys feel. So Jean-Claire Todibo is a possible target for Liverpool alongside Manchester United and Spurs, according to reports today in the media. Now, let me just tell you, I think this one's poo-poo. I don't think there's any way in God's green earth that Nice's owner, Manchester United's new potential 25% owner, are going to want to sell a promising centre-back to us. If anybody's going to get Jean-Claire Todibo, it's probably going to be Manchester United because, well, it would make more sense, wouldn't it, for Jim Ratcliffe to ratify a deal to the club that he's going to own a good percentage of. So I don't think there's any truth to this from a Liverpool perspective. Do I see a world where Liverpool have kept an eye on Todibo? Absolutely, as we should be doing. But it's not going to go down well with the Manchester United fan base if we buy a player from Nice to strengthen us. The club Nice owned, of course, by Jim Ratcliffe, so I don't see that one being a runner, if I'm being really honest about it. We should be keeping an eye on him, though, the right type of player for us that we should be looking out for. But the one that really caught our eye today comes in from Spain, from Nacional, and they say that Liverpool are seriously interested in Bayer Leverkusen striker, they call him a striker, Florian Wirtz, according to Nacional. I don't think he's a striker, I think of him more as a wide forward, but they claim that Liverpool are preparing an offer worth just about €90 million or £78 million. Now, of course, we know Liverpool aren't the only club interested. I've told you guys many times, Real Madrid will probably be there or thereabouts. Bayern Munich, of course, will be there. They're linking PSG, Manchester City, and lots of other clubs. So far this season, he has 6 goals and 10 assists in the Bundesliga. And I think we'd all happily take Florian Wirtz. I don't think there's many of us in the chat that know who he is and have watched him that wouldn't think he'd be a great addition to any team. He seems like a real top-class player. And, you know, potentially an option if Mo moved on. But I don't see this one as being one for Liverpool from what I've read previously. I hope, you know, with Xavi Alonso being the manager there, or maybe he's puts in a kind word for Liverpool, but I'm really happy we're being linked with him. You know, whether it's true or not, whether we follow it up or not, he is the type of player Liverpool's name should be mentioned alongside. You know, Florian Wirtz has done wonderfully well at Leverkusen. Obviously, they lost Kai Havertz, and I've mentioned this to you guys a few times. When I spoke to some Leverkusen fans at the time when they lost Havertz, they knew Wirtz was coming through, and they knew they had a talent on their hands. So, yeah, look, let's wait and see what happens. If it's a bidding war, I can't see us getting him. But if maybe Jurgen can pull a few strings, or if Xavi Alonso puts a word in his ear, I'd be more than happy to have Florian Wirtz at Liverpool. I don't know. I'm skeptical because when you see names like Real Madrid, Manchester City, PSG, Bayern Munich, sometimes we can't compete with a lot of them. Now, Bayern Munich also have the big draw in Germany. You know, if you want to stay and play in the Bundesliga and you want to make your name and you want to stay in Germany, Bayern is where you go. So, what do you guys think? Do you think there's much truth to this? Would you like Florian Wirtz at Liverpool? And do you think that the £78 million price tag that's been mentioned by Nacional is a fair fee? Wirtz on left wing, thoughts if we get him? Look, very good player, McNuggets. Would have no issues if Liverpool signed Florian Wirtz. Corrupt ref says Wirtz will go to Bayern. Potentially. I mean, I definitely wouldn't rule it out. You know, Bayern are the big dogs in Germany, and they like to have the best players in the Bundesliga eventually join them. So I don't think you're barking up the wrong tree. I think you're probably correct. Would you take Kane at Liverpool? No. Would I swap Harry Kane for Darwin Núñez? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't remove Núñez to bring in Kane. If we didn't have Darwin Núñez and there was a world where we could potentially get Harry Kane, would I take him? Of course I would. Harry Kane's an outstanding centre forward. Definitely one of the best in the world. No argument about it. But I like what we have. I like our boy. I respect Kane. Don't really like him sometimes as a fella, but respect his talents. But now I love Darwin. I'm happy with the boy we have. I just bought one entry for the Liverpool versus United game. Hope I win, said Brett Young. Best of luck to you, Brett. I hope you used our discount code, mate, AA10, and you didn't pay the full whack. But you've got a 1 in 199 chance to do it, buddy. So they're not bad odds for a draw like that. Wirtz to Bayern, Musiala to Madrid, and Mbappe to Liverpool. Yes, Liam. Sign me up, buddy. I'm on board. I'm on board with that. Núñez ain't no Suarez, though. So, they're very different types of players, first and foremost. Suarez was exceptional, amazing. But if you look at the numbers that that Darwin put up in his first season, look at Suarez's first season numbers, they weren't entirely different. They were pretty close if my memory's right. I think there was a goal in it. I don't know. I might be just fooling myself. But I am still fully behind Darwin Núñez, and I don't have any concerns. You know, like all of you, I see the sitters he misses occasionally, but I look at his game as a whole and what he brings to the team and what he offers, and I just love the fact that he's a Liverpool player. Do you still think that FSG should out? Do I think that they should go? Look, all I can say, Sajid, is there was no coming back for me with FSG after the Super League. Because whatever way we dress it up, however we talk about what they've done and what we've achieved, they were willing, without any consultation with the fans, with the players, with the coaching staff, to sell our history and tradition of how we play football and how we consume football down the river for a closed off competition that they were guaranteed money in every year, which is very, very, very much at odds with how us European based football fans like to consume our sport. So once they did that, there was no way back for me. No trust will ever be back with FSG. I will give them credit for the good stuff they do, and I'm not just going to hate on them for the sake of hating on them, but I'll never get over that. I'll never, ever, ever, ever forgive that they were willing to sell us all down the river with no consultation and just announce it. Just go, here you go, we are now in the Super League. It was grubby, it was dirty, it was despicable, it was unforgivable. So nothing will ever change that for me. I'll credit them. I'm not a hater. You know, if they do good stuff, I will happily say well done. Like I have done when they've given Klopp a new deal and stuff like that. But I can't get over that, man. I can't. Liverpool need 150 mil in January. Do we? I don't know, Cameron, do we? I think we need We need 3 positions in total, regardless of when we talk about getting them. So we need a fullback, a centre back, and most of us believe we need a defensive midfielder. So we need 3 spots, and I can see 1, maybe 2 being filled in January. It looks like defensive reinforcements are the most likely based off what we're seeing in the media. Does Alisson have more saves than Sa? You're not right. I'm not having an attack on you here, mate, but you do know save stats are pointless, right? Like, sometimes I see people say, but this keeper's made more saves than that keeper. That means nothing. All that means is that keeper's had to face more shots because his defence isn't as good, or his team don't control games as much. So you will see many instances where keepers have a higher save percentage or a higher save tally, but it's usually because of other factors rather than their own quality. So it's a nothing stat, even if it is showing that Sa has made more saves. It just shows we've got a better defence. Andre isn't worth it, I guess, said Tala. Truth is, my friend, we don't know. Like, the 30 million that's been mentioned for Andre seems like, in the grand scheme of things, what footballers go for these days, seems like a very reasonable amount of money. But nothing new from our interest on him. Now, there was a report last week that said Fulham are days away from an agreement to sign him. I've still not seen any confirmation on that. There was even a report that Fulham's chief executive or sporting director had gone over to Brazil to speak with Fluminense, but as we say here, no report of that deal being signed. Forox, thank you for being a member, mate. 1 month with us now. Appreciate your support. Any news on Alisson? Unfortunately, Jonas, nothing yet, mate. Nothing. You know, we've been keeping our eyes out today. We thought we would have got it last night, in all honesty, because the scans were done yesterday. Unless they're having to have a second scan to follow up on something. I don't know. Worst case scenario, you'll probably hear from Klopp in his press conference ahead of the Europa League game tomorrow. So I don't know what time that press conference is at tomorrow, but I would imagine that'll be one of the first questions asked to him if we don't hear about it by then, because we're all very nervous about it, right? Whatever about Jota, and he'd be a loss as well, of course, but you want your number one, you want your keeper available for the weekend anyway, you know, because most likely Kelleher's going to play in the Europa League on Thursday. So yeah, it's nervous, right? Because losing Alisson, it'll be a big thing. Enzo Fernandez would be class at Liverpool for the 6. He would have, Lee. Now, I don't think he was worth the money that Chelsea paid for him at the time. I don't think Caicedo's worth the money that we were willing to pay and Chelsea paid either. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as fans, I guess we just want to see the best squad that we can get out there. And I can't sit here and say that Enzo or Caicedo wouldn't have been great in this Liverpool team. They would. Just got some Bengals versus Colts tickets. Nice, Colin. Nice. Enjoy that one. Big game this weekend for the Bengals as well, right? They've got to keep winning because not a great start to the season. I know Burrow was injured, but enjoy it. It'll be a good game. Is Adrian in the Europa League squad? No, I don't believe he is. Positive news on the Bajcetic injury. I haven't seen that, Jared. So, you know, please do let me know what that update was, because I'm looking forward to seeing him back. What stats are we talking about? What is worth a player? I don't know what you mean by that, DePale. What is worth a player? Do you mean what is a player worth? Is that what you're saying? Why do we still have Adrian? I've asked myself that question many, many times, my friend. The only thing I can say, Mr. Gatland, is I did have a better understanding when I read a James Pearce article that suggested that it's difficult for any club to find a third choice keeper that is professional, is willing to train every day and work hard with those around them, and still be a positive influence in the club. So from that perspective, okay, I kind of understand it, but I also don't really want him on the pitch at any point. Would you say Wirtz is worth 120 million? Not in pounds, no. No, not yet. I think the number that's mentioned in the article is probably about right, which is about 90 million euro, about 78 million pound. So the last time I'd seen a link to Florian Wirtz, I thought the number was a little higher. It was about 100 million euro that I'd seen mentioned. So as long as we keep those figures in euros, I think it's a realistic number. So even at 100 million euro, that's what, about 82, 83 million pound. I think he's probably going to go for that type of money because he is most likely going to be that type of a talent. Sell Thiago and bring in Andre. Nobody's buying Thiago. He's only got 6 months left on his deal. So allowing him to leave and join Barca on a free, potentially, that could work. Barcelona have lost, is it Pedri or Gavi? Gavi, I think, for 7 months with an ACL. So is it Pedri or Gavi? I can't remember which one of those two young lads it was. But they are on the lookout for a midfielder that I guess Thiago could tick a few of those boxes. So maybe that could be an option. But either way, I don't see Thiago really getting many serious minutes, even when he comes back between now and the end of his contract. Finding a club that would want to spend money on Thiago would be hard. Well, nobody will. Because you could get Thiago, if you're like, let's say, Barca, you could get Thiago to sign a pre-contract and he could leave for free in the summer because his contract's up. Wirtz is insane, can play all across attack and midfield, absolutely class. Well, yeah, he can play central attack and midfield, he can play wide left, wide right as a second striker. He's a very talented player, no doubt about it. Why does Liverpool want a central attack and midfielder? We don't. You're misrepresenting what Wirtz is. If we signed him, and I don't know if we will or not, I really, really don't, it wouldn't be for a central attack and midfielder. We'd be looking at utilising them in a wide area. I could only see Florian Wirtz becoming an option if you lost Salah, or if you lost, let's say if we ended up selling Lucho, as an example. Do you think Szoboszlai will be a better player than a prime Coutinho? Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. As much as I have a bit of a bitterness towards Coutinho for how it all happened, as a player, we had some really, really good moments with him, and we know what he can do. But I tell you what, 22 years of age, Dominik Szoboszlai, he's going to be a special player. So yes, I do believe he can be better than Coutinho. Wirtz is not that good off the left or right. His best position by far is the 10. Well, it depends on a system. So you can't just say, at least I don't think you can just say someone's best position is this or this, because it depends the system. So if, let's say, Wirtz's position at Liverpool was off the right, but he was able to drift in, and we had somebody else who overlapped, and maybe he played in the half space, maybe that'll suit him more. I don't know. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We have to wait and see if this interest is real and if it's followed up on before we have these conversations about how we fit him into the team. Trophy this year. I think so, Joe. I feel... Look, you can never guarantee anybody a trophy, right? I can't sit here and tell you we're winning things, but I feel like we're on course for a trophy. We're... I would consider us probably the favourites for the Carabao Cup. Favourites for the Europa League as well. We'll see who drops down from the Champions League. Could be Newcastle, could be United. Could be anyone, could be PSG. You just don't know until we see the results. I think this week will give us a good picture of who's going to drop down. What do you think about if we beat Lask, well, if we beat them, we're through. We're through as top. So get the result, go beat them, and hopefully we don't have to put anything on the final game of the group then. Just send over a young team to play that. It's all about finishing top of the Europa League group, because if you finish second, you have a playoff round against a team that drops down from the Champions League. So goal's always been to win the Europa League group. And I think we're alright. If we get the results, that should do that. We top the group. We should focus on the Prem and not the Europa League. Well, once we get the group top, Dania, which should be this week, we don't really have to focus on the Europa League until February after that. There will be one more game, but we can ignore that game to some extent. After that, if I'm not mistaken, I think the knockout rounds don't start then till late January or February, so we will be concentrating on domestic stuff for quite a while after that. What about Wirtz as a false nine and Gakpo to the left? Again, it depends on the personnel we have, because Nunes, Salah, Lucho, Jota. As of right now, I don't see how we can have a conversation about realistically signing Florian Wirtz without having a conversation about which one of the players leaves. If United drop down, do you think they get past the playoff round? If they get a Brighton or something? They should do. Again, until you see the draw, you don't know, but you would usually back most of the Champions League teams coming down to go and beat the Europa League team in the playoff round. But we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. There's a lot to play for the English clubs this week, and tonight is going to be huge as well for Newcastle. So in about 25 minutes, I'm going to be jumping straight over the top of the league, and I'm going to be doing a watch along of the PSG Newcastle game. And that has massive ramifications for Eddie Howe and Newcastle, because they're bottom of that group as things stand with 4 points. So they need a result. Then tomorrow, of course, United heading away to Galatasaray. They need a result. City and Arsenal, they'll go through no problem. City are already through. It's just a matter of them topping the group. I love it. I love that we're involved in everything still. We're sitting here now, late November, just about to start December. We're in a great position in the league. I would have taken 2 points off the top, 1 point off Man City. No problem. At this point, that would have been fine. We're doing what we should be doing in the Europa League, which is no big problem. And domestically in the Cups, well, the FA Cup really hasn't started for us yet, but we've found our way through to the latter end of the League Cup. We've got a home draw against West Ham for that. Not really got many complaints so far about this season. Thoughts on Matip this season? Look, big Joel Matip fan. Was worried last year because there were times where he looked completely lost or not in the right rhythm. But this season, he's come back. And right now, I said it in my preview of the game, and that went out today, by the way, if you want to have a watch of it. For me, our best centre-back partnership right now is Van Dijk and Matip. That's genuinely how I feel right now. Not to say Canade will not get back in there and will not be a huge player for us, but I'm a big believer in you keep the shirt if you're playing well. And I've liked what I've seen from Matip and Van Dijk. So these are good things, though. These are very good headaches to have. You've got Joe Gomez there, Ibrahima Konate there, Jarrell Kwanzaa there. These are first world problems. What do you think about Trent playing as a CDM, Robbo being an inverted back, and playing Verge, Matip and Konate as centre-backs? So I've always been open to the... Who was this gentleman's name? Viswanath, excuse me. Always been open to the idea of Liverpool playing with 3 centre-backs. I think in the summer we'd need to add 1 more to make sure that we have 6. You want to have 6 if you're playing that system. But if you look at the centre-backs we have at the club, Kwanzaa can play in a couple of positions across the back. Gomez can play pretty much every position across the back. Matip, Van Dijk, versatile defenders. Kanade can absolutely play as the right side of a back three. I wouldn't be against it. And I can't see another way that we realistically get Trent into midfield longer term, because he's not a CDM and nobody will ever convince me that he's a defensive midfielder. But if we had a system where we played continuously with three at the back and we went to a 3-box-3 full time, or even used our fullbacks and wide positions with two central midfielders, I can see a way all this is possible, but not without a change of system. Because right now, where do you put Trent? If tomorrow, if we all said Trent Alexander-Arnold's going into midfield and we're staying with the system that we have, who do you put him in there to replace? I don't see it. I don't understand who. He's not a 6, so he wouldn't replace McAllister. And are you going to start dropping Gravenberch and Soboslai, who've done nothing wrong? It feels like you're trying to we are trying to force something that I don't know if it needs to be forced yet. CDM. Trent, I see him being overrun as a CDM. I don't see that being the position for him. As a 2, yes. If you have him alongside Bajcetic or him alongside a McAllister, I can see it. But not on his own. I don't think he has the awareness to sniff out danger in that role. Yes, he can impact the game from deep with his range of passing, no doubt about that. I don't know. It's a conversation that I think's never going to end until it's done and he is in midfield. And, you know, if you look at the narrative in the media, looking at Carragher and Neville and other people speaking about Trent, it's like everyone's almost wishing him into midfield, but it doesn't feel like something that Klopp will do mid-season. You know, it'd be something that he'd need to do with a pre-season where he could get repetitions of the game, he could get used to the role. So, yeah, don't see it happening yet, because you're going to have to put out 5 or 6 different people out of their positions they're used to now to make it work. But right now, we have a Trent at right back who is influencing the game centrally. And I don't see the rush to change that. I really don't. Like, look at us this season. So, we're playing Trent in an inverted role. Are we being picked apart? No. Our defensive record is as good as anybody's. Second only to Arsenal, I believe. So, I don't see... we're not being exploited as it stands. So, I don't see the need to force it. But Maka isn't the CDM. Well, according to our manager, he is. Now, we didn't come in as one, granted, but if you read Jurgen's words over the past week, he's very happy with Alexis McAllister. And to be fair, I thought Alexis McAllister did well against Manchester City. Did you see Messias Musialewski should be getting played in cup games? So, I did see something today on, I think it was This Is Anfield, where they were talking about the agent situation with Messias Musialewski and that they're trying to get him back to Poland because loads of clubs in Poland are interested. The agent, I believe, made a promise that he wouldn't push him back to a move from Poland, but he's playing very well. I think Barry Lutis has been very complimentary of him this season. Certainly playing a lot better than he was previously, and he had an injury as well. I don't know what's going on with Musialewski, in all honesty. But I don't see it. The plan, he was available for sale in the summer, and then something changed. I don't know what that something was. The only thing in the article that I read said that Liverpool's transfer stance changed. That's all I know. Ty said 3-box-3, Trent and double pivot with an actual CDM, push Alexis up with Dominic. But that's what we do. So you're basically asking us to do what we already do. Only for we'd lose the whole attacking threat on the left-hand side, because when Robbo came back, we wouldn't be playing Robbo really in a back three. You'd be putting 3 centre-backs out on the pitch most likely. So you lose an attacking threat on the left-hand side to make something happen that's already happening. We play a 3-box-3 in possession now, so why do we need to change it? What's my favourite clothing brand? Oh, I don't know. What do I wear 99% of the time on a stream? Adidas. Do you think Decore and Todibo / Antonio Silva will be good January, even if it's low probability? My apologies. Todebo's not going to happen because I just can't see Nice, who's owned by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's about to buy a stake in Manchester United. I can't see them strengthening us. That just would not go down well. So I don't see that happening. Decore, I've not heard anything about since last summer. Genuinely, not heard him mentioned again when I've spoken to anybody. Antonio Silva, I would bite your hand off for him right now. If you said Liverpool can sign Antonio Silva, I'd be right there. But Beraldo is the one that really intrigues me because I have to admit, when I see us linked to a Brazilian, I get excited because I don't know. I think we all have a soft spot for that bit of samba flair. So Antonio Silva from Benfica would be good, but so's Beraldo is exciting as well. Even though I'll openly say I know nothing about Beraldo. Craig goes full Adidas tracksuit. Never full tracksuit. My wife does it, and I constantly snipe at her for it. You stop wearing full tracksuits when you're a teenager. So when you get to adult status, you can wear Adidas top and bottoms, but there can't be a tracksuit that match. They've got to be different colours. Are you pissed that Trent got an Adidas deal before you? Well, it was between me and Trent, you know. We were neck and neck with Adidas for that deal. And at the end of the day, I thought to myself, look, Trent needs the boost. So I rang up the good folks at Adidas and I said, look, I'm dropping out of the race. So, you know, go ahead and give Trent that deal. And they did, to be fair to them. And I think it's brilliant from in all honesty. Big loss for Under Armour, and Under Armour treated him well from what I read. He was over at the Under Armour Performance Centre during the summer, if you remember, doing some work with their elite level fitness guys. But look, just it feels right for me seeing Trent with Adidas. It just, yeah, I'm all over that. I love it. You're insulting some Italian, American, Slav culture. Mate, I'm insulting Irish culture as well. Trust me. We've got a fair share of velour tracksuit lovers over here and matching tracksuits as well, mate. What about Robbo at number 6? No! 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 So, I mean, I feel like we're trying to force things. I love what we do now. Honestly, I'm very happy with the 3-box-3 we play now in possession, and then of course reverting back to a 4-3-3 out of possession. I'm more happy with that. Again, really quickly, couple of quick reminders about the Oosh draws. 50 grand in cash if you'd like to get yourselves over to Oosh. You can enter for just €7.50 before your discount, so $6.75 by scanning the QR code on the screen or going to the Oosh website. That draw is taking place on Monday the 11th of December live on the Oosh website. And also, if you'd like to try and win 2 tickets to see Liverpool, Manchester United at Anfield, both together in the Cop with one night's accommodation in a hotel in Liverpool City Centre, and €300 in Ryanair vouchers or cash. Again, it's limited to just 199 entries. It's €18 per entry before your discount of 10%, meaning it's $16.20 by scanning the QR code and using our discount AA10. And that works for everything on the Oosh site, by the way. Oosh have things, they give away tech stuff, holiday stuff, cars. There's a couple of car draws on there. Christmas bundles, instant win stuff. Your 10% off code works for everything on Oosh. So remember, AA10. My daughter's boyfriend is forever entering the Oosh draws. He's got his eye on a couple of cars he's been trying to get. Craig in the number 6. Oh, mate. I wouldn't last the first 8 minutes. Is this international? Oosh. To the best of my knowledge, everybody can enter the Oosh draws. I certainly know they deliver the cars and stuff over to the UK, no problem, because I've seen people win them over there. And I also know that Oosh are a registered business in Ireland and the UK, meaning that they can give out the car regs and stuff like that, no problem. So to the best of my knowledge, yes, it's open. Certainly the 50 grand cash. I'd imagine that that's just a bank transfer, so tax free as well. I'm raging because I can't enter. I'm not allowed to enter any of the Oosh draws, obviously working with the guys, but I can honestly say if I wasn't barred from entering, I'd be jumping on a few of them. Like iPhone 15, they're giving away an iPhone 15. I think it's like $5 or something to enter for that one. Do I ever wear Nike? Yes, I've got a couple of Nike product. My trainers, always Nike. I've got a few pairs of Jordans, a couple of old-fashioned, I can't remember what they're called, the Nike ones I have. But yeah, usually for shoes I'm Adidas, or for shoes I'm Nike, and for clothes Adidas. Thoughts on the new IFAB rules? I hadn't brought them up yet, so thank you for reminding me. So, there was a meeting. Let me read this out to you. So, at its annual business meeting held in London on Tuesday, IFAB, who are the lawmakers for football, just in case you didn't know that. If you ever hear us saying IFAB, it's the people who make the laws and the rules of the game. So they had its meeting on Tuesday in London, where they discussed measures to improve participant behaviour in football and increase respect for match officials. It was agreed sin bins for dissent and specific tactical offences should be trialled at higher levels. So, what we're going to see potentially come into football, and I'm all for this, is that the referee will only talk to the captain of each team. And if anybody else comes up, it'll be an instant yellow. I think that's fair. I think that's a situation that we should have in the game. We see it in rugby, we see it in other sports. I'm all for that. I'm all for referees getting the respect in that manner. No problem with that. Another thing that they're working on and discussing is, in the NFL, when the referee comes together with his other officials, they throw a flag down, they have a call, the referee turns on his mic pack and talks and says, holding, 5-yard penalty, whatever. They're talking about that happening for grounds in football. So the referee will turn on his monitor or turn on his microphone pack and say, checking for offside, blah, blah, blah. Or to relay the decision to say, goal given because, blah, blah, blah. I like that idea as well. I think that's something that would help communicate what's happening to people inside the stadium far more than we currently see. So these are things that I'm on board with. What I don't like the idea of, and what I think most people don't like the idea of, is VAR being used for potential yellow cards or corners or throw-ins. So from what I listened to Cave Solocol speaking on Sky about this, there was a real emphasis on not slowing the game down anymore when they're looking at how to implement these new rules, and that's a good thing, because one of our favourite things about our sport is it's fast moving and, we see a lot of action through 90 minutes. So let's wait and see how it runs out. But in theory, I'm okay with a lot of them. Especially the captains talking to the referees. I think that should be brought in immediately. Do I like Elise of Palace? Oh, absolutely, John. And what a goal, by the way, Elise scored this past match day. Yeah, he's a great player. I know he signed a new contract with Palace, but I'd be lying to you if I said I knew that there was a release clause in it or not. I think there was one in his old one of 30 million, which Manchester City were going to trigger before they changed, before he turned them down, actually. So I don't know if there's a new one or not. Shouldn't refs get binned as well? Look, I'm all for criticising referees, as you know. I'm very, very outspoken on that. But I do have to say, there's a couple of things I don't like seeing. I don't like the refs being surrounded by players. I don't like kids seeing that and thinking it's the norm. It isn't. It shouldn't be. Kids should be taught from day dot that the referee's word is gospel and that you don't talk back. So we've seen, was it Lewis Dunk, the first player in 15 years to be sent off for dissent this week. I think I'm right in saying it was the first player in 15 years that's been sent off for dissent for what he said to the referee. So I think having a culture where your club captain speaks to the referee only, I don't see a problem with that at all. You know, that's common sense to me. Let me say one thing though about referees that pisses me off. So I'm sure you guys have seen the Wolves Fulham game, and I'm sure you've seen Vinicius' incident where he jumped up off the ground and stuck the head into the Wolves player's face and hit him on the nose with a slight headbutt. But a headbutt. Here's what I don't like. That player, Vinicius, wasn't sent off. But I guarantee you, if the Wolves player falls to the floor and rolls around, then he gets sent off. That annoys me because you're punishing people for not acting like children, for not acting like actors and falling around the place. You have to fall or you don't get the decision. That should have been a red card. There should have been no question about that being a red card. But it was the honesty of the Wolves player that kept Vinicius on that pitch. And that winds me up. Referees should do their damn jobs. It shouldn't take a Wolves player rolling around the ground for the ref to go, well, that's a bad enough headbutt. It was a headbutt. It was a red card. These things wind me up. So did you guys see that incident, by the way? I thought it was crazy. It was a clear headbutt. And just because the Wolves, you know, we use the phrase he's been too honest. We talk about it with some forwards in the penalty area as well. They don't go down under a challenge. They have to go down. If they don't go down, nothing's getting given. We've seen it time and time again. That was a really good opportunity for VAR and for the referee to make a statement and go, sending off. And I would have hoped that we then got a lot of praise from the media to say, look, fair play to the Wolves player. He didn't go down, didn't play act. But the ref didn't do their job. And also, the penalty incidents, my take on them. First one, never a penalty. Semedo got the ball. Don't care if he accidentally, ever so slightly, brushed the Fulham player. That was a good tackle. He got the ball. Nonsense penalty. Second one on Wilson, stonewaller for me. Great take, Craig. No more prima donnas in football. Exactly, mate. Exactly. We all hate it. You've heard me on Watch Along so many times saying, if he was walking along with his missus and kids along the street and somebody brushed into him, would they go down on the ground rolling around like they do on a football pitch? No, of course you wouldn't. But they have to, because the referees aren't doing their job unless the play acted steps up. So the referees need to be stronger. You won a final with my school in Deleek. Oh, of course I'll say well done, Oliver. That's awesome, mate. Nothing wrong with winning, buddy. Winning's a nice habit to get into, so well done to you and to your school. I agree, Craig. First pen, no way, said George. It was just silliness. Like, he got the ball, and like not just a nick on the ball, he got a good touch of that football. And it wasn't like we've seen other challenges, like who's the one for Spurs against, was it City? No, Spurs against Chelsea, I think. Was it Romero who went through? Blatant. That get the ball, go through the player. That was blatant. But that was nonsense, that Semedo challenge. If we could get the same consistency as rugby, we'll do okay. I agree. Look, people in rugby will tell you refs aren't perfect either, but the clarity of their decision making is far clearer for me. Rory Jennings saying Liverpool will fall short in the title race. I mean, Rory's had some questionable takes, but he's not alone. I've seen pundits come and say similar things as well about Liverpool this season. All I'll say is this: let everyone doubt us. Let everybody think we're not real. Good. We'll go about our business, and my own take is we will be the closest challengers or the only people potentially able to beat City for the title this year. That's my take. Has everybody smashed the hell out of the like button? Yeah, please do. Look, it's a quiet stream because it's an early stream, and I'm okay with that as well. No problem. But remember, in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to be jumping over to top of the league. There is a link at the top of the chat that will redirect you over if you want to click on it, and I'll be taking you guys through the PSG Newcastle game, a massive game in the Champions League. Newcastle need to go over to Paris and get a result. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to watch it. Hincapié to replace Robbo so we can go back to back three more confidently. But again, I feel like Robbo's been punished in that situation for nothing. I don't want Andy Robertson replaced yet. Andy Robertson should be fined for another 2 or 3 years. Sometimes I feel like we're inventing problems that aren't really there to try and shoehorn in flavour of the month ideas. I think what Jurgen did with Trent has been genius. And I know he didn't invent it. I know Pep's done it before and other managers have done it, but it works. And I think a lot of our concern when we start seeing this hybrid role of Trent was that we'll be exploited down the right hand side. But thanks to the hard work of Mohamed Salah, to whoever the right centre back is in these occasions, whether it be Kanade or Soboslai coming back to help as well, we haven't been exploited on the right hand side as much as I thought we may have been. So for me, leave Trent where he is for now, and if we do make a change, I'd like it to be in pre-season when we've got time to work on it. Pinky and the Brain. I don't know where to go with that, except Adam to say, like Pinky and the Brain, I get up every day and try to do the same thing. Take over the world. Simple as that. Yeah, my wife actually does have Pinky and the Brain tattooed on her arm. That's genuinely true. That's not even a joke. No. I love that cartoon. I love Animaniacs. Okay, Sabrina. Right, I'm going to go and get set up for the top of the league stream. Again, my wife's nakedness distracting me in the background here. But every time you come into the room, love, I'm going to tell the world you're naked, whether you're naked or not.
I never am.
I don't know why you're doing squats now, but anyway, we are where we are, my good people. So look, I'm going to get set up for the top of the league stream. Link at the top of the chat right now. PSG versus Newcastle. Come across and join me. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody for the lovely warm welcome you gave to Leo yesterday. It was a great stream. I very much enjoyed chatting with him. And we'll get him on for a watch along soon as well. So I'll see you in a few minutes, hopefully in top of the league. Much love.